Christopher Media, unregimented.
He can write a song. He knows how to write a pop hook. Man can write a song. Man, you can't deny him that.
He can work a DCG chord progression.
You're right. I cannot deny that what he wrote were songs.
Unregimented on iTunes and ChristopherMedia.net. Christopher Media, let's make some noise.
Say something for me real quick.
Something for me real quick.
Christopher Media, let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan, it's Unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
Welcome to Unregimented, episode 18. I am Chris.
I am Rich.
And I'm Aaron.
And we are totally legal now.
Yeah. We can get arrested, we can buy porn, we can get cigarettes.
And now totally responsible for our actions.
Yes. Thank you for listening, liking, and sharing Unregimented on Facebook, following us on Twitter at UnregimentedPod. You can also email us, unregimented@ChristopherMedia.net. You can subscribe to Unregimented on iTunes for free by clicking through the iTunes banner on ChristopherMedia.net. Android users, you can find us on Stitcher Radio.
Oh yeah, real
also,
quick.
don't forget
that Stitcher app is sexy.
Yeah, I've noticed in to the player, it's all set up for social media and Twitter. It's nice.
Yeah. And it made a lot of really cool recommendations too. Anyway,
really,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
so
I really enjoy it because I've had trouble finding a good app for my Android-based phone, and this is perfect. Mm-hmm. This is the one now.
You just need to worship at the altar of Jobs. We've gone over this, man.
Yeah, I'd like to point out all of the equipment problems were, on the Bill Gates end. Pointing that out.
Wow.
You can also donate to Christopher Media by using the PayPal button on ChristopherMedia.net. Now we have lots of things to talk about. I'm not going to lie. I am on news fatigue. I'm on Facebook fatigue. I've pretty much unplugged from information after the last podcast. It was affecting my mood.
I'm with you, sir. I'm with you.
Should I have no control over? Should not affect my mood. And at this point, I posted it a couple hours ago. I'm ready to scale back Facebook to Messenger and business purposes, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'm kind of over Facebook in general, actually, at the moment.
No, I got to get my Candy Crush in. That's the only thing I use it for.
See, yeah, a lot of people use it for games.
Oh yeah, it's great for tracking my game progress across devices, and for allowing me to log in only when it isn't, when I need to get into Skype.
That's the one thing I have never used Facebook for is games, ever.
I got sucked in, man. I got sucked in. It's just all I can say. It passes the time on my cigarette breaks because we get 5 minutes.
I hear you. It feeds our national ADD, we have developed as a culture. But I also would like to state publicly, too, that I have never played one single fucking second of Candy Crush. I've avoided that monkey.
Oh, and that makes you better than everyone else.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, no, I don't play Candy Crush anymore. Now
it's all about Bubble Witch.
Yeah, I moved on to Bubble Witch and now the solitaire game and fucking let's just Buzz Market King games in general because they eat up way too much of my time. But I don't know. I do think they reduce my time on the toilet. I feel like having a game to play to distract me helps my bowels move.
I think it fucking just makes time pass quicker on the toilet. All of a sudden, you're in there an hour and a half.
I've been here for 15 minutes.
I know it's first world problems, but
somebody at work's going to wonder where I am.
Now that I've joined the 21st century and I have a smartphone, if I don't have it with me when I go to the bathroom, reading the back of the shampoo bottle it isn't as great as it was. It used to be. I'm just like, lather, rinse, repeat.
I have to have something though. I will read anything at hand.
Now, do you squat and surf? Aaron, you're guilty of squatting and surf. I'm guilty of squatting.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing
big time,
laptop in with you.
Yes.
Oh, no. Laptop in the toilet?
Dude, I edit on the John all the time, man.
Oh, my God.
Laptop, iPad, phone, all devices go in the bathroom.
Phone is one thing, but a laptop? Really? What do you, set it on the counter?
Doing research. No, it goes on the lap.
Your lap.
It's
not like resting it on my dong. It's resting it on my knee.
It's really good in those winter mornings. You can stick your feet in front of the radiator, your butt on the toilet, and warm your lap with your laptop.
And kill your sperm count at the same time. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I know.
I'm done with that.
I know.
I could never see another one again and be happy.
Oh, shit.
But, you know, there is a point to all this, because I hope you don't cut too much of this out, even though it is a tangent. But this is kind of what people go to when they feel overwhelmed by what's going on in the world. And we're all experiencing that right now. That's one thing I think everybody can agree on right now is news fatigue, and it just seems like one thing after another.
Definitely.
I think everybody's on the same page on that. And even though these aren't new issues, none of this is like, oh, where did this come from? These are like, this is all of America's bullshit kind of coming back on itself.
Maybe it's just having it just fired at you constantly. You know, maybe we were better as a culture when we limited it to 5 to 6 o'clock, you know, every night after work before dinner. Now it's just constant barrage all day.
Because it's either one or the other. You're either news junkie, CNN's on all the time, or you're like, I don't even watch it. I can't even pay attention to it.
It's funny that Chris brought up the 5 to 7, whatever it is.
The news time,
yes,
news at 11.
Just found myself watching Network. You ever seen Network?
I'm mad as hell,
and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Fucking classic movie.
Prophetic movie on top of it. But yeah, found myself watching Network and just going, oh, God, this is how I feel right now.
Yeah.
And this was fucking 40 years ago this movie was made.
Have you seen that movie, Chris?
We've gone over this. Don't ask me if I've seen movies.
It's about a newscaster.
Is it Super Troopers or Star Wars? And I haven't seen it. Yeah.
My 5-disc DVD collection, like 3 of which are like TV shows.
I was going to say, how many of them are porn?
None. Dude.
You have the internet.
Which, by the way, I heard a discussion this morning. Did you hear Corolla this morning, Aaron? The porn and laptop discussion they had.
Am I the only one who doesn't do on his keyboard?
Well, I was going to.
I managed not to.
I also thought of two. I relegated porn to the smartphone a couple years ago. It pretty much that's where the porn stays.
Really? That's
porn.
That's talent.
Porn is all about the
handheld.
iPad. It's all about the iPad when it comes to porn for me. But
you need 2 hands to hold an iPad, unless you're just putting it on the stand. You know, I don't want to get into your
that's
masturbation
the brilliance
habits
of it. You don't need any hands at all. All you need is any part of your body. I'm just saying, any part of your body can manipulate.
Okay,
this is where being a fat guy comes in handy, because I got the gut and I can just like set shit on it, and it just has a natural curve, so it's like it's angled right for me. I'm just like, there we go. And
yeah, just a couple years ago, if you check the browser history on my computers, I was in trouble. Now, go ahead now. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I don't know. The iPad doesn't stream video well. I like live video. So if you're into that.
I just recently,
just say it.
I just recently received some nudes from a female friend on the phone, and I was like, yay, I'm 21st century now, like totally, because I was just like,
it took you this long to get a woman to send you a naked picture on your cell phone?
Like I said, I'm sensitive. It took me an hour to ask her. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I was planting bushes to beat around, like as I'm trying to ask her. I'm like, so yeah, I know that you have a smartphone. I have a smartphone. From what I hear, people sometimes send pictures.
Getting into this territory at this point, just ask. If you're already trying to plant bushes to beat around, it's probably not fucking stupid. Hey, send me a naked picture.
If we were all teenagers right now, we would consider it rude to ask. Like, I can't believe she didn't send me any nudes yet. Like, do I really have to ask for them? Is that what this has come down to?
Sometimes you got to go tit for tat or tit for cock. If we want to.
Well, no, I told her, I was like, you do not want anything I'm sending you. Like, seriously, it will just be horrible. I know that much. But I do find it funny that, it is kind of, it's kind of like, people I work with, the younger crowd, they're like, oh man, really? There's dick pics and tit pics flying all over the fucking smartphone world. I'm like, this is why I'm not in a relationship. I can never trust a woman. Do you have a smartphone? Yep. I can't be in a relationship with you. I just don't.
I think the worst thing about the smartphone is the temptation. The fact that you can so easily track somebody's movements just by popping open their phone. And when it's just laying there all the time, and you're like,
that's why I said when I had dinner with my ex-wife.
I'm talking like not like hooking up with somebody, but like you have a long-term relationship and you get that, voice in the back of your head that's like, she's too
She's
hot for you.
cheating on
She's
you.
too hot for you. She must be sleeping with somebody else. She's way too hot for you.
You're fucking above your pay scale. What's wrong with you? But
Somebody's going to get on to you at some point.
but no, I talked
You are
when I
clearly
said
working poor, and you are with upper middle class.
Well, I talked I said when I had dinner with my ex-wife and she just left her phone on the table and went to the bathroom. I was like, either she really trusts me, she doesn't give a fuck if I look in her phone, or she's just that much fucking of an airhead. I don't know which
Seriously,
one.
no. From somebody who's
Bitch, you
experienced
forgot about
that.
option 4, or it's locked, so it doesn't fucking matter.
True,
The
I didn't
previous
think about that.
Situations you just said.
You swipe and it just goes, fuck off.
That is not the pattern.
You know what?
No, but from somebody who's been there, it's a very slippery slope. Looking into any information on somebody's computer, somebody's cell phone. During my divorce, I was tempted and I succumbed, and I wish I didn't.
Yes, dude.
I
Nothing good comes of
regret
it.
all of that.
Nothing
shit.
good comes of it. I
It's
turned
the old
into
adage of don't go asking questions you don't want the answers.
There's no
to.
satisfaction
Exactly.
in it, though. Even when you find the answers, there's no satisfaction in it, and you just feel worse. Like,
yeah. Okay, when me and my ex-wife split, she fucked up. She gave me her old phone. I didn't have one, and she didn't log out of anything.
Wow.
So
that's
the first
a special kind of stupid right there.
Yeah, buddy. So I log into Facebook and I'm just like, wait a minute, this is already logged in as her. And I just start reading stuff that robbed me of sleep for a good week. You know what I'm saying? I was sitting there literally with the phone in one hand and a butcher knife in the other going, I know where this bitch is at. I can go do it. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so I learned the hard way. Hey, ignorance is bliss. I allow me to be ignorant about certain things. I just don't need to know the gory details because it does not give me any fucking any sense of
ignorance is bliss, and your imagination is your enemy, and that shit just fuels your imagination.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, this was like just who the fuck is this guy? And then I turned into Magnum PI on Facebook, like stalking the guy that sent her the message, and I'm like. And finally,
it has to be a stalker's dream. There's a feature on your messenger. You can get directions to where the last message was just sent to you. If the other person has that turned on, you can double click on their post.
Like
it
GPS
says where they were at, and on my phone, then I can do an option that says, do you want directions to where this says?
Do you want to kick their ass? Do you want me to call all your big friends?
Yeah, it's got to be a stalker and a jealous husband's fucking dream.
Oh my god!
Trust me, I've been on the other side of that ladder. It's so fun.
Well, that was funny because I had this conversation with once again my ex-wife when we went out for dinner a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "So, have you been seeing anyone in the 5 years since we split up?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, kind of. I dated this girl for 6 months, and around the 4-month mark, I found out I was the other guy." And she's like, "Oh, you were the other guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I was wondering the whole time, why is this relationship going so smooth? Well,
yeah.
Because I'm the one she comes has fun with. You know what I'm saying? Like the other poor bastard was like, oh, this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah.
And I was the one she was like, hey, you want to go out and drink? You want to go party? Sure. That sounds like a fucking excellent time. Have wild fucking porno sex and not have to worry about. Yeah, I'm down with that. But yeah, long story short, she ended up going back to him. So what are you gonna do? You know. But I had fun for 6 months.
Saw her at certain times of the day. Why you at nighttime?
Definitely. There was times where she would leave the room with her phone, and I'm going, "Is everything okay?" Yeah.
See, now
I'm sorry, real quick. I'm getting fainter and fainter signal from you over here. I think maybe you gotta get closer to that microphone because sometimes I can barely hear you over us talking.
Dude, I'm like right up on that bitch.
Are you really?
You're really low in the mix.
Then let me boost you just a little.
That's gay code.
What'd you say? It's gay code.
Gonna boost me, but just a little.
Like a little, like a popper.
Some amyl nitrate.
That's what, amyl nitrate. Thank you. That's what I was trying to think of.
Real quick, Chris. So he met my buddy's wife when he came to pick me up, and she's like, "Well, I've listened to a few of the shows, and now I can put a face with the voice. Is he gay?" And I'm like, "See, he died.
Wait,
You said you've been. You know what? I fought it for a lot when I was in high school. So whatever, it is what it is. Because I didn't choose to fuck everything that moved, and I didn't like football. You know, and I chose to listen to
The thing is that he had an X-Men shirt on, and I'm like, I don't know any self-respecting gay man who would wear an X-Men shirt. Really?
Yeah, probably not. It's a little too busy. But what I'm confused about is that it was the face that did it.
No, I think it was
usually it's the voice that makes people think.
It was the voice, the fact that you instantly were like, "Oh, kitties!
Oh yeah,
kitties!"
Soft spot for all animals.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Even though I look like John Goodman off his diet, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm right there. Like, oh, hey, look, animals. Hi, everybody. But yeah, and then she was just like, and his mannerisms. I'm like, he was married. He's got 2 kids. And then that's when the whole, well, so was Rock Hudson. What the fuck's that got to do with anything? And I'm going.
Yeah, Elton John was married for a brief stint in the 80s.
Yeah.
To a
We
woman.
went over this upstairs. Yeah. But no, I just thought it was funny because like it just cracked me up because I'm like, out of all of us, of all the shit we've talked about, you've pretty much been like I'll eat some bloody pussy. I mean, you just flat out threw it out there. There was no like hesitation on your part. I mean, even Todd was like, "You sick fucks." You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty open about anything, any subject.
By the way,
like
I
that.
almost called the name of that episode "Pennies and Seawater."
Oh.
Instead, I went for "Find a Stranger in the Alps."
But, yeah, and then the other thing is, I was telling a friend of mine, I'm like, yeah. So when I dropped the whole million, and Chris was like, there you go, there's a 15-year-old reference for you, and then what's up? And I just fucking lost it, Chris. I didn't hear you say this. I had to listen to it. You just broke rich.
Yeah, you were laughing too hard.
Oh, good
All
times,
right.
good times.
Hey, on ChristopherMedia.net, we have ourselves an Amazon banner. We would like to ask you to click through it, bookmark the page. We do that, Amazon, they're going to kick us back a little something to help keep Christopher Media going. It's back to school time to buy all the school supplies. A lot of kids started today. Some start next week. Oh, but hey, use Amazon for everything, right? I'd pretty much use it. If they sold groceries, I would use it. Please, click through the banner. Help support us. Keep this thing going. Defray a little bit of the cost out of my wallet. Would appreciate it. Please and thank you.
Well, I'd like to go off with a little bit of a personal rant. This is not
Alrighty.
this is extremely minor news story, actually. But one that kind of struck home for me because I do enjoy the e-cigarette. I enjoy it in place of regular cigarettes. And I feel like, you know, I feel like it's a step in the right direction. The World Health Organization announced today that their recommendation is banning e-cigarettes in public places and banning sales to minors, which I'm pretty sure we're already at that point in the U.S., right? I mean, I don't believe
you should sell a controlled substance to a minor.
Yeah, last time I checked, you can't buy an e-cigarette if you're 13.
Yeah.
Last time I checked. So.
Right. But it's just interesting that, you know, they give no research. They just say, oh, you know, there's too many health problems, but they don't say anything about what health problems.
From what? Water vapor?
Yeah, there's no research on it, and they're not asking for any regulation. So
I mean, you're still dependent on nicotine. But you're eliminating the carcinogens. What's the fucking problem?
But nicotine in and of itself, I mean, like this way, the way I'm smoking.
Yeah,
it's a delivering. It's a way.
It's a delivery method. Yeah,
and the method I'm delivering into my lungs is the problem, not nicotine itself. Nicotine itself isn't going to give you cancer. I mean, I've never heard.
No, it's all the shit that's in that cigarette that's going to give. That's along with the nicotine.
That's what I've always heard.
I just would have thought that the World Health Organization, if they actually wanted to do something about this, would maybe put some research into it and put some regulation on it. Because one of the weirder things about it, and one thing that I do actually hope does change, is that there's no regulation over the actual liquids themselves. Now, I've researched the ones that I use. It's a company that's local to Michigan that's made here, and I feel confident that they have a good product, that they're not putting anything weird in it. But these liquids are coming from all over the place.
So you're smoking the Faygo of
Yeah,
the nicotine liquid.
That's right. I'm smoking the Faygo V liquid.
Yes, the better made, if you will.
Right.
Homebrew.
But instead, they're just concentrating on demonizing it the same way everything else involving
just don't
any
think-
kind of smoke.
People want people smoking. And it's,
Right.
I don't smoke anymore, but I don't give a fuck. If you want to do what you want to do, as long as it ain't bothering me, knock yourself out. And I don't view secondhand smoke as bothering me, and that's just me. I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to do this.
Okay,
Yeah,
Chris, you just touched on something. When I quit for better part of 3 years. People would go, well, I mean, is it okay if I smoke around you? I don't give a fuck.
Everybody.
Yeah, I don't care.
If you don't smoke around me, in fact, I'm not going to get over this. Yes, smoke around me.
Right.
Exactly.
Aaron knows there was band practices. I was like there's only 2 of us in that band who did not smoke. I was one of them.
Oh, and the rest of us were just constant.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
It looked like something out of Mad Men.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, totally.
It looked like the movie JFK. Because if you ever really watch that movie, that's a horrible movie to watch if you're trying to quit smoking, by the way, because there's just nothing but smoking going on through that whole fucking movie.
But here's the libertarian and conservative coming out in me. Whatever, I don't give a fuck what you do. Just do it away from me. If you want to fucking hit yourself in that face with a ball-peen hammer every day, I don't give a fuck. Just leave me out of it. Why do they feel the need? There's just it's this whole nanny fucking state thing.
Right.
The world's turning into a nanny now.
Here's something that irritated me when they implemented the smoking ban in Michigan.
The indoor smoking ban.
Yes,
in Michigan on cigarettes.
And it was 2010, I believe, is when it went into effect.
Yeah.
It passed in 2009 or 8, whatever. Everyone I know who's a non-smoker who was in favor of it was like, well, good, I'll be able to go to the bar and I won't stink like cigarettes when I go home. Okay, so wait a minute. This has nothing to do with health. This has to do with you don't want to smell like a cigarette.
No, they just smell like booze. Right.
Yeah. Oh, and when they tried to pimp the whole, well, it's a health issue. Well, there's nothing healthy going on at a bar at 1 a.m. anyways.
Yeah, come on.
Let's be honest here.
I want
don't
my
know
lungs
why this
clear
couldn't
while
be-
I'm destroying my liver.
Why couldn't this be a self-policing thing? You already had establishments that just chose not to have smoking in there.
And here's the thing.
And people who didn't want to be in an environment with secondhand smoke could choose to go there. Just like they can choose to not go to a bar where there are people who are going to be smoking.
And I have no issue with a restaurant.
Not your right to have a nightclub life, like a nightclub life, a nightlife, going out to clubs and shit. That's not your right to.
But I had no issue with restaurants. Okay, if you serve food, we don't want you smoking in here. I get that. Okay, had no problem with that. Had no problem with any place where children were going to be at. Malls, whatever, shit like that.
Yeah.
A fucking bar where you're passing around fucking STDs and fucking, eventual liver failure, and you're gonna tell me it's a health issue now? Fuck you. You're reaching way. You're overreaching.
A health issue
way
based
too much.
on research that came up with no effects of secondhand smoke.
Exactly. Penn and Teller have a show
Still
called
waiting
Bullshit.
for that body count from secondhand smoke.
Yep.
Yeah, Penn and Teller have a show called Bullshit, and
Yep.
they did one on secondhand smoke, and they got savaged. I mean, people fucking come out of the woodwork to just, you guys are fucking. If they were conservatives who were against secondhand smoke, it was you guys are fucking liberal fucking fags and this and that. If they were liberals who were against secondhand smoke, you guys are fascist and this and that. I mean, they attacked everything but the facts. Because they couldn't attack the facts.
Right.
The facts are, it's a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. Zero deaths.
Exactly.
Zero illness from secondhand smoke.
Everybody, I've said this before, everybody that I know that has died from lung cancer related to smoking, smoked. And say that again. Everybody I know who died from lung cancer related to smoking actually smoked. Both my mom's parents, 2 aunts, 1 uncle, all heavy smokers.
Oh, I got one for you, Chris. My grandfather died of lung cancer, never smoked, but he worked at Fermi too. So, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, for people who don't know, Fermi 2 is a nuclear power plant here in Michigan.
You can just get lung cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't have to be tied to, well, anybody who's watched Breaking Bad knows that. That's
on TV, it's true.
Yeah.
I read it on the internet.
Not only was it on TV, but it was a scientist who said it. A TV scientist.
Do we need to go back over The difference between hypothesis and theory again.
Oh gosh, let's not go there.
And then what's this ridiculousness now that started rearing its head with third-hand smoke? What the fuck is third-hand
It's just
smoke?
ridiculous.
Hold
This
on.
is
What
ridiculous.
is third hand smoke?
Is it the smoke that Aaron is exhaling now that he's breathing in that you're blowing in his face? Is that third-hand smoke? Like, what the fuck is the definition of third-hand smoke?
I go to a bar and then I go home and exhale into the air where my kids are sleeping like some fucking freak trying to give them third-hand smoke cancer.
Are you serious? This is bullshit.
Yes,
right?
I don't know.
No, it's not.
You're making this up, Chris.
He's not
No,
making it
I'm
up.
not.
I'm making mine up, but he isn't.
Oh my god! You know what?
But, okay.
This is why we can't have nice things.
This is
That's bottom line.
this is a class thing, right? This is a rant that I got off on earlier. This is really a class thing. It's the whole act of smoking is what poor people do. That's not what successful, wealthy, upper class people do.
For the most part, yes.
In general, yeah, and even on the way I was describing to Rich the way that smoking is portrayed on TV. I mean, think about in the early years of television, you had everybody smoked, and you had the newscaster smoking a cigarette, and then you get into like I think it was the 70s or maybe it was even up into the 80s when they put the ban on advertising on TV, and then everybody just stopped putting smoking on television because they didn't want to get letters from parents and all that
Oh,
shit.
you know
And
what?
so smoking just disappeared from television for a long time.
Here's the last time I think I saw smoking on TV
yeah.
was Friends in the mid '90s when Chandler was
No,
trying
what?
to quit,
Oh yeah.
and they were like,
Well, no.
you can't smoke.
No,
It's
no.
horrible."
That's the only way you would see it pop up. I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
casual smoking. Yeah. If you wanted to make it like your episode is a fucking PSA, a very special
Yeah.
episode of Friends, then yeah, that's great. Yeah, you can have somebody smoke a joint on television as long as everybody else in the episode tells them how evil they are.
Yeah. I got you.
It's all about the framing. But
Yes.
casual smoking disappeared, and then it kind of came back with this new golden age of television.
Well,
And
Your Don Drapers and such.
well, no.
well, not
but-
only that, but yeah, you have
Sopranos.
But to
and-
get to finish my thought, though, the smoking that you now see depicted on television is either a poor person smoking the fuck out of cigarettes, is chain smoking, or a successful person who's that's like their crutch or their weakness. They have like the one cigarette at the end of the day. Like if you guys have ever seen that Kevin Spacey show on Netflix.
Oh, House of Cards.
House of Cards. Yeah, on House of Cards, he has the one cigarette at
Yeah.
the end of the day. On Leftovers, it's a whole stigmatized thing of like he's hiding the smoking from his wife. He goes on a jog and has a pack of cigarettes under the mailbox stashed somewhere so he can go and smoke them on his jog. It's always
The Leftovers?
yeah, it's a
HBO one?
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yes.
Well, no, because there's in that show, there's a whole group who smokes.
Yeah.
And they don't talk.
Right, the whole
Because-
but they're freaks.
Yeah, well,
They've
yeah.
I mean, they're or at least that's how they're totally portrayed and
Yeah.
looked at it. The rest of the community they're outcasts,
Oh,
and they
yeah.
just wear all white. They don't talk. They write shit on pieces of paper and they smoke all the time.
And it's something about you're wasting your breath.
Yeah.
And so they smoke to I don't know. I got about 3-4 episodes into that show and then I just tuned out. It's so
Yeah. So, but to bring my point together here, so you have the kind of demonizing of smoke in general, the thinking of that it's a lower class type of thing to do. That's why you don't want your kids to do it, really.
fuck that. I don't want my kids to do it because it's expensive.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. I don't want my kids smoking cigarettes for health reasons. But I wouldn't be. A lot of people are like, well, you stop smoking cigarettes, but you still vape. So what? Well, because the point to you wasn't about the health, it was about the image. To you, it disgusted you to have to look at somebody who was partaking in something like that. Right? It offends your eye.
What was it?
And
Doug Stanhope said, if you're envious because I'm smoking a cigarette, I don't know. Vote. How about
Yeah.
that?
Who votes in elections? Old people and something else. But yeah, it was.
Well,
he was talking
also-
about the loophole in the law.
Some
He's able
faggy
to
Tennessee
smoke on
William
stage.
play. Yeah. So I'm a performer, so technically I can smoke on stage, and if the cigarette makes you jealous, vote. You know,
Right.
get in
How dare
touch with
we-
some.
Well, also, Rich made a point that there's a lot about the vaporization technology that's carried over from consuming THC concentrates and stuff like that. And so there's kind of that stigma there as well. So it's just a cultural thing, the way people look at vaporization. Nobody's looking at it with just, I don't always look at any facts on this. It's just, hey, we wanted you all to
odorless,
stop
doesn't harm
smoking.
the
I did
people
stop
around
smoking.
you.
Well, that's not what we meant. That's not what we meant.
We want you to stop the way we want you to stop.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
like, well, fuck
No,
you. You know what I'm saying?
what we really meant is we wanted you to stop being so gross. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
When we said,
how dare you enjoy
hey,
this?
or
cigarette?
feed
hey,
into the
stranger,
industry that we
I
have.
care about your health and I don't want you to get sick. I was really meaning, hey, stop being so gross out in public.
pretty much.
Or they just want you to get to feed into the machine of the patches, the gum, the smoking cessation programs sponsored by the truth.org, which is funded by the government. You know, we want you to quit how we want you to quit, not how you want to
Right.
quit. Feed into our system to quit.
Well, what I love is I have friends that instead of quitting smoking cold turkey, which I mean, admittedly is hard, I did it. I put on about 40 pounds, and I'm surprised I didn't climb a clock tower with a fucking 50 cal. But I got friends that, you know, they what is it? Shit. The pills.
Yeah.
You know, they
the
take
ones that make
Oh,
you sick.
Chantix?
Yes, and they're like
Everybody I know who's tried that has stopped it because it makes them go insane. Like, literally.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at. They fucking were bouncing off the fucking walls, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, at least I'm not smoking." I'm like, "So you're psychotic,
having,
but you're
like,
not smoking.
lucid
Maybe you should have a
psychotic
cigarette and calm down." You know.
Now I got to go back to my doctor and get a regimen to get me off this this pill.
But
I'm addicted to that shit.
Like one of the, you know, because it's wonderful in our society, you know, they'll show a ask if Chantix is right for you, and then they give like it takes like 2 times the length of the actual commercial for all the side effects they have to list.
Right.
Anal
Like
leakage.
Chris Rock, if you're asking, ain't that just a dealer?
But yeah, it's like anal leakage. Like a buddy of mine was like, yeah, I kind of had a little bit of an issue with that. I'm like,
What
dude,
is anal leakage? Like, you can't hold it?
it? Would.
Cha cha cha.
I'm going.
Well,
I'm going to put
really?
it the way he said. He said it's like
I thought diarrhea
like-
was the medical term for that.
it's like
Now
having
anal leakage.
diarrhea, but it leaks out. Like I guess your sphincter doesn't hold.
So you get to flash forward to 85?
Yeah, pretty much. And I was like, that's fucking horrible. That would make me
I would
smoke
rather
if I
smoke
never
than
smoked,
involuntarily shit my pants. Call me crazy.
But he was like, I had to go off it. There's just no fucking way I could. And on top of it, he was a driver. He drove for a
man.
waste management company.
In diapers.
And so, yeah, so he's in a seat and your ass goes numb as is.
He's
and
driving
he doesn't,
astronaut style.
doesn't realize he's had some leakage issues, gets out at his next stop and he's like, oh boy, I got a snack pack in my fucking underwear. You know what I'm saying? This is no good here.
So white pants were just out of this guy's closet.
Oh yeah. And
Not even an option.
He eventually he kicked the habit. He went cold turkey, kicked the sheets for a couple days, done, over with, doesn't smoke. Of course, now he weighs about 70 pounds more than he did before he quit smoking.
The first time that I quit cold turkey, but I also had significant motivation, which was, well, my wife at the time was pregnant, had to quit smoking.
Yeah.
And was pretty much going to rip my nutsack off if I didn't as well.
If I can't smoke, you can't smoke.
That's right.
Clear it out.
But also the motivation of, having your first kid.
As we talk about this subject, thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's just you and the smoking there. we were smoking and vaping and all that while doing it.
Real quick,
Yeah.
I did find from the mayoclinic.org, what is third-hand smoke and why is it a concern?
Oh my God.
Oh, really?
Answers from Lowell Dale, MD. Mm-hmm. Third-hand smoke is generally considered to be residual nicotine and other chemicals left on a variety of indoor surfaces by tobacco smoke. This residue was thought to react with common indoor pollutants to create a toxic mix. This toxic mix of third-hand smoke contains cancer-causing substances, posing a potential health hazard to non-smokers who are exposed to it, especially children. Studies show that third-hand smoke clings to hair, skin, clothes, furniture, drapes, walls, bedding, carpets, dust, vehicles, and other surfaces, even long after smoking has stopped. Infants, children, and non-smoking adults may be at risk of tobacco-related health problems when they inhale, ingest, or touch substances containing third-hand smoke. I can't even read this with a straight face. Third-hand smoke
Smoky
is...
items might give you nose cancer.
Can I just slam my dick in a door just over and over and over until because I'm so sick. Everything's bad for you. Everything is you're infringing upon my right for this. You're infringing upon my right for that. And it's like,
look where we live
and
all the factories around. Go outside and take a big breath of air.
If you're pissed about fucking carbon monoxide and cigarette smoke, you never fucking should be on the fucking highway with your window down. Okay, fuck you.
No, even, you know what's worse than second and third hand smoke? All the off-gassing that comes off the plastic shit in your car when it bakes up to 120 degrees all day in the summertime.
There we go.
Your plastic dash is giving you cancer.
That's not as sexy of a cause. It's not, we can't have like a little mascot that goes, only you can prevent secondhand smoke death, whatever the fuck.
No, because that flies directly in the face of the American dream. Getting faster, more, I don't know, getting faster cars that we can afford still. Faster, cheaper cars.
Hey, this car gets 18 miles to the gallon. Oh, boy, that's fuel efficient. No, not really, but all right.
Compared to 50 years ago, yeah.
Well, I just...
9 miles to the gallon.
I'm so fucking tired of every time I turn around, something's just, this is no good for us. This is no good for us. This is no good. Okay, look, here's the fucking deal. We've managed as a race of human beings to make it millions of years so far, or hundreds of thousands of years so far. I don't think one thing's going to check us out. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that we do. I mean, nuclear war or something like that. Yeah, obviously.
Maybe a giant comet.
Yeah, well, yeah. But I mean, I'm talking about
out. It's filled with third-hand smoke, by the way.
Well, okay. What do you think about this? There's Initiative 594 in Washington State. Universal background checks. This came up in the news because Bill Gates donated $1 million to promote voting yes on this, on weapons. Sorry, I didn't say that part, did I? I didn't say the gun part.
Yeah, I was like background checks on cigarettes?
On everybody.
I was gonna say, we're just going to go ahead and run.
Can we do the next spot real quick and then restart this?
Yeah.
Well, actually, hold on a second.
We'll come right back to it.
If they're just going to run random background checks, that's pretty much St. Clair Shores PD.
Yeah.
Just running plates for no good reason.
Man, I really want to talk about this. But first, if you're looking to launch your own website, please click through the HostGator banner at ChristopherMedia.net. That's who we use to host all of the Christopher Media shows, like this one, Unregimented. Comes out every Monday and Thursday. The Weisman Podcast every Friday, and it's been looking like Tuesdays lately, too. Eminem Question Everything. Those guys come out Sundays. The Toddzilla X Pod, whenever the fuck he feels like it. And you'll like it. When you sign up for HostGator by clicking through our link, you're helping to support ChristopherMedia.net.
What they're looking to do is close the loophole on purchasing guns without a background check through gun shows and private sales, which is controversial. Now, I'm not sure.
Okay, hold on a second. Gun shows that loophole should be closed. In my opinion.
With exceptions to family and antiques.
Yeah, okay. Because I dated a girl whose father was he was a registered gun dealer. He sold. I mean, he didn't sell like fucking fully automatic AKs, but he could sell pretty much any handgun that and he could do it. But he had to go through a process to get that license, and it was like anything with drugs. Any type of violent history, any type of domestic, like even if it was just like a cop showed up to break up an argument and it got on his record, he could have never had that license. Yeah, but
how does that translate to who he's going to sell it to? That doesn't automatically follow that he's going to be responsible in who he distributes guns to.
And I understand that,
but it shouldn't be his responsibility.
The thing is, that's the thing. If he sold to someone and he wasn't responsible, and that gun, which had been licensed and registered to him that he sold is used in a crime, he goes to prison.
Right.
So I mean, it's kind of that self-policing thing. I mean,
I'm for that. If a bartender can be blamed for somebody's death for serving you too many drinks, I mean,
which they can,
then it should. I think what Rich is saying. I think that should.
To me, this is just the idea of
go down like that.
We already decided as a nation that we were going to regulate how guns were purchased, right? But it shows you how seriously the nation takes an issue. You compare so everybody that wants to own a firearm has to have a background check. They pass these laws, and then it turns out, oh wait, what about these gun shows? What about private person-to-person sales, well, that's just a loophole that lasts for decades, and nobody really does anything to close that. That is essentially you not doing your job in the first place. You didn't do what the will of the American people was and what everybody voted on at the time, which was regulating the gun sales.
Well, I mean, you've heard about the cool down period, right?
But hold on. To compare that to something like, let's say you want to tax and regulate cigarettes, right? But these guys are running cigarettes from state to state in order to avoid taxes. Oh boy, are they all over that? That's something that they police big time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just because they're not getting their piece.
There's a loophole that they closed like that.
Yeah. If you get caught.
So how seriously do we really take this issue? It's mostly like, well, we appease some people with this regulation and left this loophole open so that we can appease the people who are actually paying for all of this shit.
See, I kind of look at guns. Hunter S. Thompson put it best, in my opinion. He said, I had to realize and come to terms with my gun problem. You know, Hunter S. Thompson, if you know anything about the man, was
he had
very
a pretty
much
major gun problem at the end,
and,
like the one in his mouth.
I mean, well, we are going to talk about that later. I don't want to get off on that tangent.
Okay,
we are going to talk about that later. And I think me and Aaron are going to butt heads a little bit. So
I think so, maybe.
But no, a responsible gun owner is a person who, one, you're not. How do I put this? Okay, stop, pause, time out, back up.
Yes.
Have you heard about the cool down? Like, you know how many days they say if you go to buy a handgun, you have a 5-day waiting period, a cool down period.
I'm angry now.
No, here's the honest. When I worked for a company that I needed a sidearm, it was required of me to own one to work this job. I went to Garden City Police Station. I need to buy a handgun. What do I need?
Oh, I thought you went to buy a gun from the police.
Everything
like,
was
hey, that's the guys walking around with them. I figured they'd.
Hey, where can I get? Hey, where can I get one of those? But no. So I was like, what do I need?
What's it going to take?
What do I need to do?
200? Give me yours. It'll be easier.
Gets you into this gun today.
But I said, what do I need to do? I've never owned a handgun, never, anything like that. And I said, well, in the city of Garden City, we have to run a background check. And I said, okay, how many days is that going to take? And they said, you got 15 minutes? Yeah. Okay, give us your info. And they ran an FBI background check on me. And they came back and they said, here's your permit. Go buy your gun. And I said, wait a minute, hold on. I thought it was a cooling off period. They said, well, no, we do an FBI background check. I said, okay, so what did you find? And they said, well, you were convicted of obstructing traffic in Novi in 1996.
Yeah.
That's all that's on your record. And I'm going, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? So you guys did a thorough background check like that. So there's no, you know what I'm saying? I've never experienced a cooling off period. To me, that kind of should be a thing.
Is the cooling off permit? Is the cooling off period for when you're purchasing the actual firearm, or is it when you get the permit? I would think it's for the firearm.
What I did is I went to Garden City. I made sure I got my background check. I went to the shop, put a down payment on the handgun. They said, okay, now go back and here's the numbers and everything that you're going to need to give the police to register it.
Yeah. I
gave it to them and they said, go pick up your handgun. By the way, do you know how to legally transport one? I was like, yeah, don't have one in the pipe and, 15 in the clip and you can't keep it loaded and on your passenger seat. Had to put it in the case, made sure it was unloaded, put it in the trunk, you know what I'm saying? Never had a problem. I was actually a few times stopped by police and they were, I'm sitting there and I got my hands on the steering wheel and they're going, you know why we pulled you over? No idea, but I do have a handgun in my trunk, and never once did I have a cop like all of a sudden,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Like grab his shit and be like, "Get out of the car now!"
Well, it would be cause for alarm.
I told him, I said I have a handgun. I'm licensed to carry in the line of duty. I'm on call 24/7. This is my company. I work for this alarm response company. Blah blah blah. And they were like, registration. Okay, you're good. Yeah, you have everything's in order. Okay.
Yeah, but you also did what you're supposed to do. You made sure you had everything in line with possessing it.
Right,
you didn't buy it with the serial number scratched off.
You're kind of making my case for me.
No, don't get me wrong. I do agree with doing background checks for a handgun purchase. My problem is, and I've talked about this in another podcast we did. My problem is that you got popped with oh my God, a couple joints when you were 17. You can never own a handgun. What the fuck does one have to do with the other? Nothing.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of
But no,
what
if
kind
you-
of things
if-
would show up on a record.
No, I'm
that
with
would
you on
prevent
the
you.
violent crime thing, Rich. It should be based on your history.
Exactly.
You know, if you get drunk and slap up your wife or girlfriend every other weekend, you probably aren't going to be a good candidate
Yeah,
for a
but,
firearm.
But isn't looking at drugs the type of good profiling that we need to use when we try and eliminate threats?
No, what the fuck? What?
When you have, okay, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to demonize drugs, obviously, but all I'm saying is
Wrong podcast.
All I'm saying is, all I'm saying is there is a correlation
okay.
with drugs and gun violence on the street.
But
I think this
to
goes
automatically
to-
draw one to the other.
I'm not saying automatically. I'm
But
saying
that's what we
as
do.
a form of profiling, looking at it as a
I think kind of what Rich is getting at, and kind of what you are too, but on the opposite, you can't paint with that broad brush. You can't say that are all drug crimes violent crimes. No. Are all violent crimes drug crimes? No. Like we can't, you can't lump one in with the other.
Yes.
You know,
and on top of that, drugs is a health issue. It's a mental health / physical health issue, and we don't in this country treat it that way, and we don't get very good results. Other countries that do treat it as a health issue, a mental health issue, get far better results than we do.
yeah, but you're not.
there may be a light at
Okay.
the end of the tunnel with that.
Okay, but wait a minute. I got to challenge that though, because if we go that route, then you're actually you're putting drugs in with mental health. Already, people who have mental health issues, we do not want to arm.
How many people with mental health issues self-medicate through
No,
booze?
I understand, but
through-
we're talking about permits for weapons.
Okay,
So,
but all
Yeah,
right.
because I can
that's
see
not
where
gonna
Eric's
advance your
coming from.
cause any.
Because then,
no, I got what you're saying. In point,
Because-
you did
because
scroll off.
instead of lumping in, because instead of lumping in now drugs with violent crimes, they're going to lump it in with mental
health.
illness.
yeah, it's still
It's-
6 of one, half dozen of the other. You're still not getting a gun, son.
It's like a snake
Well,
eating.
here's the fucked up thing. And I know this is such a cliche, but it's the honest to God's truth. I've seen it with my own eyes. If you want a handgun, you don't even need to fucking talk to anybody and get one legally. You can have one in
Oh
fucking
yeah,
a day or
it's
two.
anything else in this country. If you want it, you're going to get it.
Outlaws will get guns if they want them. That's just people who
You
who
could
live
take
outside
away-
of the law will have that shit.
Yeah, you could take away. You could make guns illegal. You could make. You could erase. You could get out the magic eraser and erase the fucking Second Amendment. And say guns are now illegal and buy them back from everybody for $10,000 a gun and whatever, and get us out of debt. Well, great. The criminals are still going to find them bitches.
Exactly.
The enterprising ones will be a gun factory. It'll be like fucking prohibition.
But
You know what I'm saying?
But we're not talking about criminals. Let's look at the list of recent shootings. This is like citizens with road rage. A drunk man blows a girl's half of her face off in Detroit, not even knowing who's on the other side of the door.
Okay, real quick.
A cop
We've
shoots a possibly innocent, possibly not innocent kid, basically.
What about that incident last year where the guy popped a kid in a movie theater because he's throwing popcorn?
Right. So
shit, I thought it was bad when I yelled at people to shut up on their fucking phone at a movie
I think
theater.
those are the types of things that you actually do have a little bit of control over. You can't control psychos all the time, but you don't have the same type of civilian, I should say, the same type of civilian gun violence in the UK that you do here in America.
That's a cultural thing. Me and
Is
Michael,
it?
me
Because
and-
they wait.
Yeah,
they had,
because,
this was
they don't-
based on
they
an
don't
incident.
throw-
Wait a minute, they had a school shooting. Dozens of kids died, and they said no more, and that was it.
we have a culture here in the U.S. and
Yeah, we got the shoot 'em up culture.
exactly. Okay,
We got kids growing up.
There's
I
not a
didn't
whole,
see
there's not a whole lot that Michael Moore and I agree on, but in Bowling for Columbine, he breaks it down.
Yeah.
He's like, look at the other cultures
Even
who have
them.
guns. They don't have the issues we have. We are a violent fucking culture. We celebrate it. I mean, we romanticize the Wild West. That was people fucking killing each other over nothing.
Yeah.
And we romanticize it. Clint Eastwood makes a goddamn fucking movie like The Unforgiven, and we're like, oh, it's a great movie, man. I love it. Really, it's barbaric. You know what I'm saying? Like, and put it into terms of today. Like, Gran Torino. Like, how many people watch that movie and were like, yeah, good for you, Clint. Stand up to them Vietnamese.
They missed the point completely.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I mean, and if you think it doesn't affect you psychologically being exposed to all that shit, I can tell you right now, I wasn't allowed to watch R-rated movies until I was maybe like high school. And things like, folks just never let us watch violent shit. And guess what? Now I'm older. I'm not a violent person. I actually have an aversion to violence. I don't like seeing it. I don't like watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't
you're a Quentin
exposed.
Tarantino fan.
I could tell. I have only seen Marvin get his head blown off like once, and that was like the first time I saw it because I didn't know it was coming. But it's like if you just don't think like constantly exposing the, and some people could argue it's the video games, and that could be part of it. But I'm telling you, growing up from the time you're 5 years old, seeing somebody in the movies blowing people away, that's just going to affect you when you get older.
I think you're both wrong. I think I think actually maybe Rich is more right a little bit, only in the fact that I don't think I don't think it comes from an influence of the culture around you. It is more inherent in the culture itself. That still doesn't really say anything about any type of gun control, which is the subject at hand. Okay. This is kind of like saying my neighbor is really violent. He's got a record and he just bought a tank. And well, that's just him. That's just that's his culture. He's a violent guy. He served in the war. He's probably killed people. Just let him have his tank.
You should have a criminal background check, and you should have a psychological evaluation if you want to buy a gun.
So why?
Yes.
So okay. Then just to answer the first question that should have been posed in this discussion, do you think that they should be closing these loopholes on gun shows and private owner sales?
Flat out, gun shows, yes. Private gun sales, it should be stricter. It should be. There should be, like I said, there should be more. You're responsible if you're a private. You should be held to a standard higher than a gun shop if you're a private gun dealer. You should be held like
more gun control from the gun guy. What a twist!
No, guys, don't fucking get it twisted. It's not like I have an arsenal in my house. I don't own a handgun anymore. The minute I left that job, I sold my handgun. People were like,
"No, I'm not saying you're not. I'm not painting you as Michigan militia type here. I'm just you're pro gun. You've made it. It's been pretty obvious over the last few podcasts. You probably blew a teabagger's mind with what you just said. By the way, what I think they should be stricter. What he likes guns and he wants gun control.
It should be, and I do agree with psychological. Fuck a criminal background check. Okay, that's the minimum we can do. Let's start getting psych evaluations on these fuckers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you quick to anger? Maybe you shouldn't have.
Exactly.
So we are on the same page here for stricter gun control.
When the shit happened with the last Batman movie, people were like, it's not a gun issue, it's a mental health issue. It's kind of both. It's both,
it
really.
It is. Yeah, mental health. Okay, so if it's not a gun issue, just take the gun out of its hand and put a knife in it, and how many people are dead?
Yeah, he'd have maybe got to like 5 or 6 tops.
Now it's a gun issue.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I totally agree with that. But here's the thing. People were like, well, what if everyone was armed? Well,
that is the dumbest excuse.
Okay, so what's going to happen?
A trained cop barely hits his target half the time.
So now you're in a fucking theater. You got a psychopath coming in there fucking just mowing people down. And then you're going to have these fucking morons who are like, America, I love it. And it's going to be a free fire zone.
Isn't this the
nothing
example
good's going to happen.
If you think the word there has only one spelling, you should not own a firearm.
Okay.
But isn't this the example that the country's setting for its citizens? When we go around and arm all these dangerous places in the Middle East and say, well, this is going to solve it. No. We just got to get the ratio right. A little balance,
We just have to arm the right
Scud missiles, couple
right
tanks. And just find a nice balance. That's what they're looking to. Yeah,
Chris,
let's find a balance in society where everybody's as dangerous as everybody else, so everybody's afraid to make a move.
Well, I will say this: it is a cliche.
Fucking kidding me?
But it is kind of true. A well-armed society is a polite society. However,
bullshit.
No,
fucking shit.
Dude, I've lived in states where you don't know who's carrying, and I'm gonna tell you what, you're not as quick to flip the finger and fucking jam on the brakes and do a brake check on somebody.
You know what makes a person polite when they have to actually look somebody in the eye? It's being able to have the screen of not having to make eye contact with the person. You're driving the car. You don't even have to look at that person. You can just flip them the bird. You can talk shit about somebody you never met on television because you don't have to look them in the eye the next day. It's not about whether you're armed or not. It's whether you have the balls to do it to somebody's face.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. Okay. When I was driving, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're in this new, like, internet hero society where everybody, that could become an issue.
I wish they'd all an hero.
But I mean, that should...
Sorry.
Little 4chan joke for you.
The last thing I expected to come out of your mouth was that. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
But no, just we're just, and we've already hit on it maybe a little earlier in this podcast too, of just, we got this whole new warrior society out there now where everybody's the arbiter of everything and the moral fucking center of everything. That could bleed over into, well, fuck it, I got a gun, I don't have to look you in the eye, I just point it at you. Let me give you an example. When I drove through, first time I drove through Texas has two laws that scared the fuck out of me.
Concealed carry and stand your ground?
Open containers. No, literally. As long as you're not legally drunk, you can drive around with an open beer in your fucking lap in Texas.
Right.
And you can have a
loaded trip to Texas.
You can have a loaded gun in a gun rack. So, first time I drove through Texas,
that place is filthy with deer. You never know.
But the first time I drove through Texas, I'm like, oh boy, here comes a pickup truck, and he's kind of coming up on my ass fast, and he's got a gun rack, and I'm pretty sure there's a PBR tucked in between his fucking thighs. Just let him do his thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him.
Okay.
I didn't. Like, when he got on my ass, and he was riding my ass, and I'm like, there's a whole lane for you to go around me with. I didn't do what I do in here, because I'll stand on the fucking brakes and make someone fucking damn near drive off the road. Fuck you for riding my ass if you're like that. They're open container. They're allowed to carry loaded weapons. Not a good fucking mix. Yeah, they could be
fully loaded in two respects.
Yes, not a good fucking mix. Guess what? I was a lot more polite on the fucking road than I was when I'm here. Just saying. So I get your point about, bullshit, a well-armed society. I understand where you're coming from, but I'm just saying from personal experience, and I know it's anecdotal evidence at best, but I wasn't testing that motherfucker.
I'm kind of on Rich's side on this one as far as we've talked, my take on gun control is extreme. Either take them away from everybody or fucking give them to everybody. Because I'm more, and I've heard other similar stories to Rich's as far as, I had a cousin who lived in, I believe it's a town called Kennesaw, Georgia. If you had a Kennesaw zip code, you had to own a firearm, or you did not live in Kennesaw, Georgia.
Yeah.
And the crime rate there was fucking low. Because it was like Rich said, it was people, you may think twice about sticking up that old lady at the fucking ATM if you know she might have a gun, bigger than yours in her purse.
But there's a lot of things that I think twice about going downtown Detroit.
But okay,
because I conduct myself in a certain way because of the environment there.
Ferndale.
We have also determined the three of us are a lot smarter than the average bear. But continue.
I don't know about all that. As I sit and suck on a cancer stick, that's not very intelligent. But anywho, Ferndale has a low crime rate. I'm pretty sure Ferndale's very liberal, and fashionable Ferndale probably doesn't have a whole lot of gun ownership. So I get what you're saying. It is possible, but you know what I'm saying, for a society, a town, whatever, to be enlightened enough to not need to arm themselves.
But you could also argue too, bordering Ferndale, you got Detroit,
exactly,
full of liberals, full of lots of very well armed liberals.
Oh no shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what cracks me up about my buddy and his wife live in Detroit. That entire neighborhood votes Democrat right down the line every time. And they're all armed to the fucking teeth, which is flies in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
of most people who would think of a Democrat or a left-leaning person. So I got you. I really, honestly, I don't feel the need for a handgun because I've only ran into a few situations where I felt that I needed it. Like when I was working that job, I needed it at that job because I was going into places that were fucking. There's no way I would have went in there unarmed. No way. But outside of that job, maybe one or two times I've ever felt in my life that I needed a weapon of any sort. If it's a fist fight and I get my ass handed to me, I get my ass handed to me. You fight enough on a long enough, you fight enough, you're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? No one never gets their ass whooped if you do enough fighting. So I'm not scared of the ass whooping. I'm not scared of that. But I will say this: I don't know if I would live in certain neighborhoods, and if I had the option, would I not own a handgun? I think I would. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd rather be safe than sorry. And I'm a Chris, I'm a big fucking fan of Bill Hicks, and he's like, his thing was, this is what society tells you: buy more guns, buy bigger locks for your doors, blah blah blah, be scared of everybody. Well, there's a point where it's not. I'm not afraid. I'm being prudent. I'm being pragmatic. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone kicks open my fucking door, you know what I'm saying, and then they stick a gun in my face, they're not gonna be like, oh, let's have an encounter session. Let's sit down and talk about how this makes you feel. No, fuck that. You kick open my fucking front door, you stick a gun in my face, you're probably going to get one stuck back in yours. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all there's to it.
And I don't own a gun either, but I will always stand behind the Second Amendment because you've said this before. I want the right to shoot back. Just in the case of what you just said, or maybe perhaps that person kicking in the door at some point is the police.
Exactly. Exactly.
And like you said, what are you going to do against tanks or whatever if the government, and the police militarize? Like I said, I just want the right to shoot back. I have never shot it. I'm 35 years old. I've shot a BB gun, but I just want the right to shoot back.
I want to be butcher. We're going to get PETA to fucking protest you. How dare you shoot a BB gun?
I just know that I went down swinging, and then maybe that's that conservative part of my brain. But that's just.
But I will say this, so Aaron can. You can understand. I'm totally for background checks. I even go so far as, like I said before, psychological background checks. Mm-hmm. What I'm not for is limits on, okay, if I pass all your if I jump through all your hoops and I pass with flying colors, you have no right to tell me what I can and can't fucking own once I've passed.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Because there's
what is the M16 for? What are the automatic weapons for?
Killing people. Bottom line.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm not.
You don't want that deer to get away, do you?
I'm not gonna sit here and go, a street sweeper is for hunting. Fuck that. It's called a street sweeper because you're killing people on a fucking street. That's what it's there for. That's it's a tool. And where I agree with you is that we talked about this on one of the other podcasts. Once you dress as a hammer, everything looks like a nail to you.
Right, yeah.
And my problem is you got a lot of people who are like, I want this fully automatic rifle. Why? Why do you want it? Do you live in a fucking war zone? Do you really need a fully automatic rifle in fucking Westland, Michigan?
Some people feel like they do.
Maybe they're a horrible shot at deer hunting and want to hit it like 20 times, so it drops.
But no, and this is a fucked up way to draw a parallel here.
We're going to hunt rabbits with an AR-15.
It's kind of like anal sex. I like it on the table as an option. Doesn't mean I'm going to take it necessarily. I just want, Sorry, my bad.
Butt sex and gun control. Only on Unregimented. DraftKings. It's one-day fantasy sports. My whole weekend is, when I come back, it's filled with, I got 2 fantasy drafts, and I am super excited. However, more than likely, I'm going to dick the dog on this one. I always do. I do well at fantasy baseball, basketball, football. I fuck it up every year. I'm stuck with that team all year, but in DraftKings, I could just keep trying. I keep trying for 16 weeks until I get one right, damn it. Christopher Media listeners are winning real money every day at DraftKings. Fantasy football, it's back. There's no way to say it's on its way. It's back. DraftKings giving away, you'll hear this week, they're giving away $5 million kickoff week with their $5 million kickoff bash. Please click through the banner on ChristopherMedia.net and sign up today. Alrighty, guys. Hate and Discontent complete for another session. We will catch you on Monday.
Later.
Thanks for listening.
If you enjoy this show and want more people to know about it, head on over to iTunes, leave a comment, and rate it 5 stars. Make sure you like and share us on Facebook, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Just search for Christopher Media. Thank you in advance for supporting Christopher Media by clicking on the PayPal button and by clicking through to all the sponsors who support ChristopherMedia.net. Most importantly, we would like to take the time to extend an extra special thanks to you. Christopher Media could not exist without your support. Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.